Hello everyone, I have my journal in front of me because today we are going to be talking about an idea that I came up with while I was journaling this morning. Let me find it. Yeah, so the idea is that you don't become on accident. And so a little bit about what prompted this was I was talking about how I had recorded a podcast episode and my intentions for the podcast. And then I was telling myself how I had to remember my why for why I wanted to record the podcast, which is that I want to help a woman. So let me see where it says. I said I feel like I prefer the audio only versus a visual form of content, but Babe Your Higher Self is Calling is about becoming a woman who listens to her own internal knowing and trusts the direction of her intuition and her future self when making decisions. She's no longer just passively going through life, accepting whatever people throw her way. She's taking the reins and steering it into the direction she wants her life to go. I feel like becoming is no passive action. The transformation might be subtle, but the initiation, the motion, and the action that built momentum was a very intentional choice. People don't really become their dream selves on accident. They have a goal in mind, create a plan, and then a system to achieve that goal. And while eventually they might move through life doing certain habits on autopilot, they intended to. And so, like I said, this is an idea I wrote about in my journal this morning, and I wanted to talk about more with you all. Because I feel like it's so on brand for the Becoming Her Beyond Measure channel and like what I'm realizing. I think that this is especially on par because I have been reading. I just finished The Alchemist yesterday or the other day, and I am in the process of finishing the Atomic Habits book, and so this sort of has my mind in a space of trying to conceptualize the information that I'm hearing and how it matters for me and my audience that I'm trying to create, like how I want to show up and articulate this information in a way that's easily digestible. And this is kind of the result of that. I feel like when we are becoming, you have to make a choice along the way. And I think that this specifically came up with me doing my challenges, of course, like 75 booked and everything like that. Like I am now on day 12 or so of 75 booked, and it's a very intentional action to read every day, twice a day for 45 minutes. I have to remind myself to do it. I have to set the timer twice a day for 45 minutes. I have to find a book that's easily digestible, or at least that's gonna keep my attention so that I'm not just passively reading. And I have to remember to continue to do that on a daily basis for the challenge and record my progress. All of that is intentional. It doesn't happen on accident. So at the end of this 75 days, when I'm more of an avid reader and when I've finished reading all these books, and at the end of the year when I'm an avid writer because I'm doing the 75 writing challenge, it wasn't accidental. It wasn't like I just magically became this person overnight. I set up intentional daily habits that helped me achieve that greater goal. And it's a choice. It's also a choice to not become the version of you that you're trying to become, where you are watching Netflix or spending time on the phone instead of getting a task done that you know you need to get done. But I also feel like sometimes that choice isn't as black and white. A perfect example is I have been doing a co-working session with this person. Well, not really a co-working session. We started off because we were practice coaching clients for each other. She would coach me and I would coach her. And then we kind of just developed from there. We kept meeting weekly and we would talk. Mostly I would hold space for her and she would hold space for me. But with 4th of July just happening and her being out of town because it's summer, we haven't been meeting. And she reached out to me this morning asking if I was available for the call. And my initial response was like, I am available, but do I want to do this? Because I am currently working on 75 Ray while also doing 75 books and obviously 90 days to become her. And 75 Ray requires me to write 4 hours a day on top of having to read twice a day for 45 minutes. And while that's only like a 6-hour window, you have to pause the timer anytime you're not actively writing. And so that turned a 4-hour writing session yesterday into an 8-hour writing session. So it's very unpredictable. If my sister calls me, I get distracted. If I'm on the phone with someone or like have to tend my kid or have to use the bathroom or have to cook, those things like extend my day and make things harder to do. And I was like, while this is something that I used to value and while it was aligned with the version of me and the way I wanted to show up last month and definitely in May, in May, does it align with the current version of me and the goals and the version of me that I'm trying to become? And I was like, no, because again, like my sister calls and like I am gonna answer the phone. Like we talk and we chat and everything. And like I said, that's already, my social media is only so high every day. And so that's already giving space to my sister on top of the amount of energy and output it takes to be a mother, on top of the energy and output it takes to do 4 hours of active writing, on top of the energy and output it takes to cook and shower and do things. And I know it's like, oh, well, that's what you're supposed to do. But while that's true, yeah, it's just not that easy. I am going through a lot mentally and emotionally right now that make it not so easy to just check things off a list. Yesterday was a really great example of that. But I still have to show up for my future me. So if I'm already struggling to do the basic tasks that I set for myself, yesterday I didn't eat, I didn't drink water, I didn't really do anything. So if I'm already struggling to do those things, of course I fed my kid, but I'm talking about my own thing. If I'm already struggling to regulate myself and show up for myself, why would I add anything that's gonna only make it harder for me? So when it comes to those becoming things, it's like no meeting with her is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also not helping me, and it's not serving the version of me that I'm trying to become. And my biggest thing that I was struggling with was like, oh, I don't want to be mean and like ignore her because I technically have the time. But it's like what I told myself when I was writing and I was journaling, I was like, just because I can doesn't mean I should. Just because I have the time doesn't mean I have to give it away. Because it's not like I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Like, there's genuine things that I will be doing with my time out if I don't talk to her. Like, I already give so much of my time and my energy and my space to other things, to other people, to outputting, and I don't have to be, that a machine. And when we talk about becoming being an active choice and something that's completely intentional, it all adds up. Because a conversation with her is never just an hour conversation. we always end up talking for sometimes 2 hours, because I'm the type of person who wants to hold space for people and show up and give them the time and energy that they need. I don't have to do anything. If we come to the hour mark and she's still venting and processing, I'm not like, hey, it's an hour, like, we gotta hang up. I give her that time and space because I know her situation and I know how important it is to be heard. Some of you all would say I need to set better boundaries, but to me, my boundary looks like, if I know I can't give her like an unlimited time, I'm not gonna do the call at all. Because I hate when I'm talking to someone and they're like, hang on, hold that thought. Or like, you know what, I have to go. Like, I just feel like that's so rude. And so I try to do my best to give people that same courtesy. Obviously, being a mother, that's not always possible, especially because I have a little one. But I do try my best. And so with becoming, it's not just like, oh yes, I could be doing all these things that seem like they matter. At the end of the day, is this helping me become who I'm trying to become? And a question that I've been asking myself a lot lately since starting the 90 days to become her challenge is, will this matter in 5 years? And will this help my future self in 5 years? Will this matter in 5 years is the most important starting question, because if it doesn't matter in 5 years, I don't allow myself to dwell on it. For example, when it comes to technology issues, is having a not being able to record gonna matter in 5 years? No. But what is gonna matter is, in 5 years, is, did I record anyways and find a way to record? Yes, that's gonna matter. So I focus more on how I can achieve that goal rather than the hassle around the goal. And so, will it matter that I had this call with her today? No. In 5 years, that won't matter. It won't even matter a month from now. But will it matter that being on that call with her meant that I couldn't, say, read or record or do something else? Yeah, that'll matter. Because especially if that sets me back on my timeline and I'm not able to achieve the things that I need to achieve today, then I have to start my 75 challenge all over, after having 2 good days of progress for the 75 Ray challenge and then 12 days of progress for the 75 book challenge. So you see how, like, one idea, while seeming positive, can have a domino effect. And so we're gonna go back to the idea of it not being passive. Like, all of these are like intentional decisions that you have to make throughout your day. And so some people ask, just like, are you being productive? And I think that that's not enough, because getting on the call with her would be productive. It would be conversation. It would be me practicing my coaching skills and honing in on them. But again, there's other ways that I could be being productive and using my time that would also further, like, give me a better return on investment. And maybe that sounds a little mean, but I just think that, like, again, with we only get 24 hours in a day. If you're not intentionally auditing where you spend your time, life is going to happen to you one way, whether you like it or not. And so why not be intentional about how you spend your day and where you're putting your time, so that at the end of the day, when it comes to becoming her, you don't have to question, was I making time to become her? Because you already know that you were. So, like, for me, my day consists of things that I know are going to lead me to my dream self. So at the end of the year, when it's December 31st, 2026, and I'm looking back on my goals and I'm like, oh, did I become her? Did I show up? Did I do these things? I'm not going to see, on this day I didn't do this thing, and on that day I didn't do that thing, and on that day, no, I'm going to be able to show up and I'm going to be like, Yes, I did the best that I could every single day to become her. And when you read the Atomic Habits and all those things, he talks about becoming 1% better every day. And you don't become 1% better every day by doing the same things that you've always been doing. You have to be intentional about changing your life. You have to be intentional about doing something different. So while having a weekly call with her served me 2 months ago, did that get me where I wanted? It didn't. Did I magically get coaching clients because of it? I didn't. Did I hone in on my skills? I guess so. But did it help me build my business or my brand or any other growth? Not exactly. What did help and get me closer to my goals for the last 2 months has been recording, showing up consistently on camera, and developing my confidence, journaling, drinking my water, consistently doing my steps, maybe not perfectly, but consistently doing them, reading increases my knowledge, allows me to think about things more deeply instead of just surface level. Writing helps me achieve my goals. And so you have to think about this. Like, it might just seem like one little thing, like, oh, I'm just gonna drink coffee. Okay, because that's what I did yesterday. I was like, I'm just gonna drink coffee. No big deal, right? Drinking 1 cup of coffee turned into drinking 2 cups of coffee. Mind you, they were the solo red cups, so maybe about like 8 ounces each. Point wasn't that I drank coffee. Point was I was up until 5 a.m. because of that coffee. Which then meant that instead of getting my normal 8 hours, I only got 5 hours of sleep. And I woke up at 10 a.m. And now, luckily yesterday, the day before that, I had gotten 10 hours. So it kind of equals out, which is why I'm not tired and I didn't need coffee and I'm drinking water. But like the point is, like, that one small action actually has more of an effect than you think. So you can't just be like, oh, it's okay, like it doesn't matter, like I didn't intend for this to happen, but it happened, so it's okay. Like, okay, yeah, sometimes we can't control life and life just happens to us, but I feel like you can control like the aftermath and the outcome. So when things happen or it doesn't go your way, like, what do you do about it? Are you just gonna sit there and be like, well, damn, like, that sucks that this happened, I can't do anything about it, I guess I might as well just throw the whole day away? Like, because I could have done that. I had a bad morning, I was not feeling it, mental health was mental healthy, and I could have been like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to bed, sleep all day, mope around. Instead, I did 8 hours of writing, read twice, still did 6,000 steps, and still showed up for myself. Again, 5 years from now, am I going to remember that I had a bad day? Probably not. But I'm going to remember that I showed up despite having a good day. Despite having a bad day, because I wrote it down. And I can remember that I showed up for myself. So I feel like this was important to say. I know it's not like scripted or anything, so it's like all over the place, but I just wanted to share my thoughts with you all, because I've been thinking about the becoming journey, and like how some people make it seem so easy, like, oh yeah, whatever you want comes to you. No, I don't think it's that simple. I really don't. I think that you have to actively make a choice every day, especially in the beginning, especially the first year. You gotta intentionally decide, what am I gonna make time for? This or this. And if you don't, you're gonna not be where you wanna be. It's gonna take you longer to get there. And so that's all I have to say about that. I'm gonna go ahead and post this video and then get on about my day, because I still have things to do. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.